welcome to today's special class. Hello everyone. Hello. Okay, we will be starting in a bit. Good afternoon. If you're watching from Nigeria, good afternoon. From every other part of the world, hi. How are you coping this time? I trust you are all staying safe. I'm happy to come live today to share a few things with you. So we will be starting in a bit. Okay? So as I said earlier on, we will be constructing the basic bodice blocks. I'm just going to do a few things. Okay? So we will be constructing the basic bodice blocks. Remember I said, note the word constructing. Constructing. So it involves a bit of calculation. We'll be working, it's not simultaneous equation like I said in the post. Just simple arithmetic. That's what we'll be doing. So I already made a list of what you should have for this class. Obviously, you're not going to be able to draft yours now. But you need to have a notepad, pencil, pen, eraser, small ruler, just to scribble down, just to sketch down a bit. And after this class, I expect everybody to attempt this. Okay, so I will be back shortly. Know if you can hear me, if you can see me, if the board is fine, not too bold and all sorts. So we can quickly do some adjustments. Let me know. But first, before we go into that, I want to say that we should all stay safe. We should stay at home. I know it can be boring for some people. Unfortunately, we find ourselves where we are today. It's a pandemic, remember, and we can only come together to make it go away. Simple instructions. Let's just adhere to them. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your mouth. Don't touch your hair and all of that. So please, let's kick COVID out of the world, because it's the whole wild world. So yeah, please stay safe, stay at home, invest in yourself, do something that you've been unable to do before now. I know a lot of people say, oh, there is no time. This is the time now, and this is not going to last forever, trust me. We don't pray it lasts more than 2 weeks that the government said we should lock down. So please make good use of this period. Okay? Now let's get started. Please do let me know if you need us to adjust anything. The picture, the volume, I hope everybody can hear me. I know you can hear me. I have a very loud voice. So the picture, if there's anything you want us to adjust, I hope this shouldn't take us more than 1 hour. 1 hour, 20 minutes at most. Okay, so like I said, we will be looking at the basic bodice block. We will be drafting the front and the back. So using the pattern making method. And I just want to say a little bit about pattern making. So pattern making, it's like you creating a template. Like, remember what we have in mathematical sets? That stencil thing that has the alphabet, the instruments, the cylinder, the chemistry thing. Okay, you can use the alphabet one to write out your name. For example, someone like me, I don't have that beautiful handwriting, so I can just decide to use that stencil in the mathematical set to write out my name. So someone created that, right? So that everybody or anyone who is interested in using it can use it. So it's a stencil. So it's similar to pattern making. So basically pattern making is you creating a template, kind of, using accurate measurement. So I'm going to refer back to the mathematical set stencil. So if you pick up that stencil, okay, let me see if I can get that stencil and I'll just show you. 1 minute. Okay, so the mathematical sets. So this is the stencil I just spoke about. Someone created this, right? And it wasn't just done. It was done using certain measurements. And these are the clinical instruments, the chemistry for those of you who did science back in school. So these were done using measurements, and like I said, I can use this to write out my names if I want, and that's the exact thing with pattern making. You create patterns using someone's measurements to create the template, then you use that template to make designs or garments. It is not only in the fashion industry that we use pattern making. Okay, so I have a book, it's about pottery, and it's pattern making in pottery. So it is not only in fashion that we use pattern making. Pattern making helps you with accuracy. Whatever it is you're creating out of that template, you'll be sure it is very accurate. So basically that's a little bit about pattern making. You can also go online. There are lots of information about pattern making that you find online. Okay, so in creating patterns, you need accurate measurements. So we will be taking someone's measurements today as illustration, and we will be creating the pattern in the person's measurement. Okay, so before we go on, I'm reading from this book. I know a lot of people know it. Okay, so I work with Natalie Brays. I use our basic principles in creating my patterns, and that's what I will be teaching today. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show us the table. Okay, Susan, can you see the table? Are they seeing the table?
Yeah, need to see.
Okay, so this is what it looks like. Sorry, I'm going to be moving left and right because we're broadcasting on Instagram as well and Facebook. So this is, I know a lot of you would have this. Am I capturing it? Is it capturing it? Okay, so after the video, I'll probably share it. Okay. It's fine. Can they see it? Okay, so if you look towards this side, you see it says measurements, and on this side it says proportions. So for these measurements and proportions, So the side that says measurements means someone's measurement was taken. So for example, if you need to make something for yourself, you have to take all the headings. So on the measurement part, there is bust, hip, waist, waist length, across back, across chest, the shoulder, and the top arm. These are the measurements we need to create the bodies, what we're going to be doing today. Also, the part that says proportions, they were also taken on individuals, a lot of them, thousands of them. But we cannot take this on every individual because of accuracy reason. So what Natalie did was she took several measurements and did the average for us to use. There's another thing I would like you to see. I hope the internet is allowing this. On the measurement part, the one that says bust is written in bold. So this basically means the bust determines the proportion we are going to use. For example, if my client's bust is 96 centimeters, we're going to be working in centimeters. 96 centimeters. So the corresponding proportions is what I will be working with. Okay, so like I said, I'll share this page below in the comment section so everyone can see. So basically, that's how it works. So the measurement side is what you take on an individual. The proportion side, you cannot take them accurately. They were taken on different individuals, but because of accuracy reason, you cannot take them on every of your clients where you're taking their measurements because of accuracy reasons. Okay, so the bust, which in the book is written in bold, is what determines the proportion you are going to be using. Okay, so I will be taking our client's measurements now, and we're going to start. And we have our model, please. Our lepa model. So this is our model for today. Say hi to the camera. Hi. Can you see us? Or we should move like this. So she's going to be our model for today. So basically, when you're about to take people's measurements, they have to be dressed in a body hug garment. A tank top on a leggings is fine. Actually, as a matter of fact, if you go online and Google how to take human or women's measurements and you click on the image, you'll see that a lot of the pictures you'll find, they'll be wearing bodysuits. So you're expected to wear bodysuits. Yes, I know. I know a lot of people would say, bodysuits. How will I tell my clients that they need to? You have to tell them, for example, if your client is coming to you wearing what I'm wearing. So if Regina was going to take my measurements, and I know how measurements are being taken, once I get to her, I would have to remove this. I'll have to remove this and wear a tank top on a leggings. In essence, your client was wearing something hugging their body. So that way you'll be able to take accurate measurements. Remember, accurate measurements. Accurate measurement is very important in designing. In anything, in ceramics, remember I just said we don't use pattern making only in fashion. Those who do the pottery, ceramics, I have a book, I'll probably show you before the end of the video. They use pattern as well. So basically pattern means you creating a template using accurate measurements. If you have a particular template, you can use it to create a lot of things. Okay? Do we need to move the camera backward so that they can see Regina? It's okay, then if you need to move it backward, just move it backward so that you can capture. Can you see the two of us? Yeah, she needs to stand like this, so we need to move the camera backward. Can you see the two of us? Sorry, we need to make sure you are all seeing us. It's different. It's perfect. Okay, so I recommend when you're taking client's measurement, you take it in front of the mirror. So you make them stand in front of the mirror. Unfortunately, we don't have a mirror on this section, but make sure you're standing in front of the mirror so that you, as the person taking the measurement, can see what you're doing at the back. It is important the measuring tape is placed perfectly on the individual, right? So I'm going to take our bust measurement. So when taking bust measurement, you tell your clients to spread their hands just a little bit so that you'll be able to pass. Now, I cannot see the back, and that is why you need to stand in front of the mirror when you're taking the measurement. The tape must be held parallel to the floor and passing through the highest point of the bust. The highest point of the bust is the apex, and the back must not slant like this. It has to stand parallel. If you're slanting your tape at the back, what you're going to get is going to be different from when you place it correctly. So it is important you place your tape correctly, and that's why you need to stand in front of the mirror. So let's say, for example, I have a mirror there. I'll be able to see what's going on at the back because I can't right now. Okay? So you take the bust measurement, which you pass through the highest point of the bust. The highest point is the apex. And the next thing is to take the waist measurement. For the waist measurement, it is recommended you tie something like a ribbon around the waist. If, for example, the person is not wearing something fitted, you should tie a ribbon around the waist and measure around the waist. Now, how do you locate the waist? We have some individuals, they have like 3 waist levels, right? But because we are working on the bodies, we need to focus on the body's waist. And the body's waist is our natural waistline. Alright, natural waistline is that part that goes in below our bust, the part that goes in, the curvy part. Here, I can see her old because she's wearing something fitted. So that's your natural waist level. And because we are working on bodies, we're going to focus on just this waist measurement. Okay, so you take the waist measurement like so. Not too tight, not too loose. It is recommended when you're taking a slimmer figure, you make it a little bit tight. A robust figure, you make it a little bit loose. But again, the client should be able to tell you if it's too tight or too loose. So also learn to converse with your client. Ask them, what I do. Let me tell you what I do. So when I'm taking it, I'll take it very tight, and they'll say, do you want to kill me? Oh yeah, use your tummy to bring it out. So something like that. So you can just ask your client, is it okay? So they should be able to tell you if it's too tight or too loose. So the bust measurement and the waist measurement sorted. Now the hips measurement. Can they see the hips? Okay, fantastic. So the hip measurement is the part that shoots out below the natural waistline. Remember, we just took the measurements on the natural waistline. So you place your tape also horizontally like this around the fullest part of the bum. Not too tight, not too loose. And hey, you don't have to keep moving your tape up and down. No. Because if you're making a skirt, for example, and you're using woven fabric, there's going to be zipper on that skirt. So I really do not understand why people move the tape up and down. There's going to be fastener. And if you're using stretchy fabric, it stretches, that means you'll be able to, wear whatever it is you've made out of that fabric. So you don't need to take your tape up and down. Just take it around the fullest part of the bum and the hip. Like so. And you measure. Again, sometimes some individuals have lower hip level, which is is a bit down compared to where the bum sits at the back. It is very important you study your client's figure when you're taking their measurement. Again, I'll recommend you go online and read about human anatomy, the construction, the figure of a woman in this case. Okay, it is very important as a designer to study the human anatomy, study the figure. When you're taking your client's measurement, make sure you read and record their figure in your head. It is very important. It's going to help you when you're drafting your pattern. So you take the hip measurement and you record. Okay, so the across chest measurement is taken from the armhole to the armhole in front, like so. So I'm going to do armhole to the armhole in front. It is very important you take this measurement accurately. If you don't, it's going to affect, it's going to cause an issue when you're adding sleeves to your garment. It's one of the sleeves problem. Across back is taken again from the armhole to the armhole, and by that I mean this part. Can you see this? What about this one? This part. This is the hand. There's something that joins the hand to the body. So it's from that part. So that will help you. And you place your tape like so. Also be generous. By that, I would recommend you add 1 centimeter to whatever it is you have measured for the across back measurement. It is very important you take this measurement accurately, both the across chest and across back. If you take them short of what they are actually, what the figures are, then there will be issue when you're fixing sleeve. Okay? So the shoulder, when you're taking the shoulder measurement, it is taken from the neck point to the shoulder point. The neck point is NP, is the point that connects the shoulder line and the neckline together. So that's actually the highest point of our body. Yeah, I know. The head is the highest point, but garments do not hang on our heads. It hangs on the shoulder. So this part, which is the highest point of our body, also known as the neck point, is the highest point of our body. And all vertical measurements should be taken from this point. Okay, so I will be taking the shoulder measurement from NP to shoulder point. Shoulder point is where the bone, you have the bone around the shoulder. Are they seeing it? Shoulder point is where you have the bone around the shoulder. So for her, it's about 14.5 centimeters. So you record. Okay? So the next measurement is, which one have we done? The length to waist. The length to waist is very, very important. And I'll tell you, if you don't measure the length to waist accurately, there's going to be loads and lots of issues. Okay? So the length to waist is basically the half length at the back. Your half length at the back. I know, okay, I was supposed to say this at the start of the video. You can use 2 methods to create garments. The freehand method and the pattern making method, which is what I am teaching. I know a lot of freehanders, they work with half length in front instead of working with the half length at the back. But we, for using the Natalie Brays method, we will be working with the half length at the back. And it is very important you take this measurement accurately. So to take the length to waist measurement, your tape must be on the neck. There is a bone here. If you cannot see it, you can ask your client to bend, but I can see hers. No, don't bend, it's fine. I can see her own. So the tape should be placed on the neck to the deepest part on our back. I can feel it. If you cannot feel it, remember I said we need to put a ribbon across the waist to identify the waist level. So I can see our own and it stops here. This is the deepest part of the back. The hollow part. It is very important you are able to locate this part. If you take your measurements too long, by the time you finish your garment, you're going to have folds at the back. If you attach zipper to your center back and you've taken the length to waist too long than what it should be, you're going to have folds. Okay, so it is very important you take all these measurements. Also, the top hem measurement. It's useful when you want to draft the sleeve, but we're not going to be drafting sleeves today. We're just going to be creating the bodice block. So the top arm is your bicep, right? Take it loosely and you record. Those are the only measurements we are going to be using for today. Okay, so I've written down the measurements and I'm just going to show you, and I'm going to show you the proportions we will be using. I will be right back. Okay, so I have written down our measurements and okay, so for our bust measurement is 94 centimeters. So I'm going to show you the book again. Okay, so the bust measurement is 94 centimeters. In this measurement book, can they see it? Okay, so from the table, there is no 94 centimeters. Can we all see? Okay, are they saying on this side? Is it okay? So if you look at this table, there is no 94 centimeters. We only have 92 and 96. So the 94 falls in between 92 and 96. So looking at the proportion side, okay, I hope the book doesn't tear. So we can either, because it is 94, it is neither closer to 92 nor to 96. It's in between the two of them. So you can use any of the proportions, the corresponding proportions to either bust 96 or bust 92. Okay? So because I have studied my client's measurements and her body structure, she doesn't have, this is another way that you can know which of the proportions to go with. She doesn't have bigger cup. She has a little bit, she has a wider across back and wider across chest, but the cup is small. Okay? So that tells me I don't need big figure. Like for example, under the proportions we have the CB, the point O, the back neck, the depth of armhole, which is the bust line, and the back UP, the dart, the approximated armhole was given. So this tells me I should go with bust 96 proportions, because if I go with the bigger ones, that means probably she has a bigger cup rather than a wider across back or a wider across chest. Okay, so for this class we will be going with the proportion that corresponds to bust 96. And I'm going to write them out. Okay, so bust is 94. Waist. So I'm just going to copy our measurements first. So we will be writing out the proportions, and I said we will be going with proportions. So if you have this textbook, it's a good thing to bring it out now and you can flow with me. Okay, so the proportion for bust 92, that's what we will be using. So that's 3.0 will be 3. Neck width will be 7. Depth of armhole will be 21.5. The back QP will be 5.5. The drafts will be 7.5. An approximated armhole is 43. Okay, our shoulder is, what's our shoulder? 14. Okay, and this is the board. Okay, so before we proceed, I'm just going to do some calculation. Remember I told you to have your calculator with you, so I have my phone. Please don't be doing, always use calculator when you're calculating. Advanced we are getting old, so don't impress anybody. Just use calculator to calculate whatever it is you need to calculate. So we're going to find out of all the horizontal measurements right on here. So for example, the bust measurement, we're going to divide it by 2 and by 4. So 94 divided by 2 gives us 47, and divided by 4 gives us 23.5. 71 divided by 2 gives us 35.5. Divided by 4 gives us 17.75. 109 divided by 2 gives us 54.5. Divided by 4 gives us 27.25. The across chest and across back, we cannot divide vertical measurement. Remember the length to waist, we cannot divide. So the across chest divided by 2 also gives us 20.5. Divided by 4 gives us 10.25. The across back, 39 divided by 2 gives us 19.5. Divided by 2 again, by 4 gives us 9.75. The shoulder, we cannot do anything with it. Okay? So, we're going to start drafting in a bit. In pattern making, most times when we're drafting, we draft in a box. Okay? So we will be drafting in a box, and we will be drafting half of the front and half of the back in a rectangle. So we're going to create a rectangle, and at the end of the day, we're going to have something that looks like this. So this is half of front, half of back in a box. And that is why I have the paper already stapled or pinned to the board so that we can all see it. So to create a box, it's a rectangle, basically a rectangle. I'm sorry, there's going to be a bit of mathematics in this and simple arithmetic. So a rectangle is a shape, right, with two opposite sides equal. Two opposite sides are equal. A square is when the four sides are equal, right? So this is a rectangle. The two opposite sides are equal. So to create this rectangle, there is a formula we will be using. And the formula, there are two. One is half bust plus 5. And the other one is half hip plus 3. So we're going to work this out, and whatever we get is whichever one is larger between these two is what we will be using to create the width of our box. The length of our box is constant, and it's going to be 75 centimeters. Okay? So half bust, you now see why we need to work out, we need to do this calculation. So all I have to do now is pick the figure. So half bust, which is 47 plus 5 equal to 52 centimeters. And half hip is 54.5 plus 3. That gives us 57.5 centimeters. Remember I said we will be working in centimeters. So this tells us my client's hip, according to this formula, is bigger than our bust, according to this formula. Okay? So to get the width of our box, we're going to be using 57.5 centimeters, and the length will be 75 centimeters, which is constant. The length is constant. So I have done the box already. So you need to make sure the width of your paper is wide enough to accommodate this measurement. So if you have a paper that is not wide up to 57.5 centimeters, you need to join paper. Also, you can't have your exact width. If you can see, there are margins and margins at the bottom part. As pattern makers, we don't draft our blocks from the edges of the paper. You leave margins in case someone mistakenly tears your paper, so it doesn't get into your construction. So you don't draft from the edges of the paper. So I have created my client's box, and the width is 57. So this is what I have done. I hope they can see my videographer.
Yes.
Is it old enough? Okay, so that's what I have used. And this 75 centimeters, and this is fixed. Now we are going to start. Okay, so as we draft on, there are figures that I will be using from the measurements that I took on my clients, and there are figures I will be using that I have taken from the proportion table. I'm going to say that again. As I'm going to start drafting, I will be using some figures that I have taken from from the measurements I took from my clients and other figures that I have taken from the textbook, the proportions according to my client's bust measurement. Let's get started. Okay, so this should take us, we're looking at about 1 hour to draft this because I'll be talking and explaining. But in reality, once you can draft your basic blog, it's not going to take you more than 35 minutes to draft. Okay, so now we have the upper line, the top line of my box. I'll call it top line, right? And this side, the right side of my box, I'll call it center front, and I'll represent it using CF. CF means center front, and the left side is going to be center back, and I've written CB. So we're going to start our draft from the back, right? Okay, let me get my rulers. Okay, so there are some tools that we will be using. I'll show you the tools later. I know a lot of you know about the tools, but I will be showing you as we go on. So I'm going to be working with metal roller. So this is about 60 centimeters, 24 inches. We have the longer one, it's there, but I won't be using it. I don't think I should need it. Okay, and I will be working with, don't mind my sheep cup. It's an armhole cup. Somebody's laughing. Why are you laughing at my sheep cup? It's an armhole cup, and I tell you there are lots and lots of armhole curves. Okay, so also known as the French cup. This is another one. Can you pass me those two in the nylon, please? So I'll show you 1, 2. This is another one. This is another one. So you need to have all these tools to be able to draft your blocks. You don't have to buy everything at once, but there are basic ones that you must have before you can start constructing. Okay, so also we have the hip curve. I like sheep curve. Can you pass me the hip curve, please? So this, and 4 other ones, I bought them as a set. They are called sheep curves. I like them. I like it for my hip, especially. I like the way it curves the hip. You need to be able to curve the hip very well before you see it's broken. I've been using this since 2012. Yeah, I know. But I got them for $20. $20. I cannot throw them away. Edge up. See, it broke, and I taped it back using a scotch tape. And I'm good to go. See, someone mistakenly ironed the upper part, but because I love these core tools, I cannot just throw them away. I'm sorry. And they do the work perfectly. There are other hip curves. We have the pattern master also. Because they all curve differently, I like to have all of them. This is another one. I rarely use this, but they are all hip curves. Okay, so let's get started. Can you see the board clearly? It's not too far, right? Perfect. So like I said, we will be starting with the back. the edge of the paper down along the CB, we're going to measure certain amount to get our point O at the back. Point O. So this is what you're going to do for me. So you're going to use P. P means proportions. M means measurement. So whenever, as I'm talking, I will be telling you where I have taken those figures from. For example, point O is from proportions. So you write P in the brackets. That will help you to know where those figures are being picked from when you're drafting your own. Okay? So from the edge of the paper, I am going to measure my client's point O. And the point O is taken from the proportions. And it's 3. Remember, we're working in centimeters. So I'm going to point out 3. Okay? You're supposed to work with pencils, well-sharpened, pointed pencils. At least you should have 4 on this table. But because you might not be able to see the pencil, that's why I am using marker. You cannot use marker, please. You cannot have thick lines. You cannot have double lines. So that you all will be able to see it, that's why I'm working with marker. Well-sharpened pencil, sharpener, and eraser. Okay? So this is my client's point O. And from that point O, I am going to measure certain measurements. I'm going to mark a cross-back measurement, a bust measurement, a waist measurement, and a hip measurement. Okay? So first, from point O, I am going to mark a bust level. Right? The bust level, not the bust measurement. The bust level is taken from the proportion, and it reads the depth of armhole. Bust level is taken from proportion, and it's the depth of armhole. So for my client, it's 21.5. So 21.5. And our waist measurement. Our waist measurement is taken, the length to waist measurement was taken on my client, and that's the length to waist, so it is 40. So length to waist measurement is under measurement, not proportion. I am still measuring from point O, and this is 40. And the hip measurement will be, we're going to have 22 centimeters to the length to waist measurement. So if we add 22 to 40, that gives 62. Okay, so this is 62. This is 40. So I'm just going to draw a line and an arrow and say 22. That means 22 centimeters is added to 40, and this is 21.5, and this is point O. So we have 2 more lines to do, the across back line and the shoulder line. Okay, so also we are still measuring from point O to get the shoulder line. The shoulder line is constant. It is 3 centimeters. So we're just going to mark 3 centimeters. And to get the back line, you're going to measure what you have from point O to bust line, that is 21.5, and divide by 2. So 21.5 divided by 2 is 10.75, right? But we want to avoid fraction. So in your mind, you're going to round up 21.5 to 22 before dividing by 2. Okay, so this 21.5 divided by plus, you round it up to 22 first and divide by 2. So this becomes 22 divided by 2 will give you 11 centimeters. So I'm going to mark 11 centimeters right here. Okay, so I'm going to rule these lines right across to the center front. Not all of them. the hip, the waist, and the bust measurement will go right across to the center front. And the easiest way to quickly mark this is what you've marked here. Just mark them faintly in front as guidelines. As pattern makers, we work with guidelines. Your straight line must be straight lines. If you're supposed to rule a straight line and it's a bit slanted, that's how the garment is going to look on you when you're done sewing. Okay? So I'm just quickly going to mark this here, just faintly. Okay, so I've pointed the same thing out on here and I'm just going to rule across. Sorry, I had to wear high heels to add to my height. I'm not that tall. Okay, so this is the hip line. This is the waistline. This is the bust. We have ruled these three lines right to the center front because they are common to both front and back. The across back, from the word, it cannot get to the front. And the shoulder level has the same level. They have different levels both in front and at the back. So for these two, we will just rule them across halfway. Okay? So I'm just going to do that halfway, or less than halfway. This is the across back, and this is the neck. This is the shoulder line, sorry. And the neckline is the point O, and it shouldn't be more than 12 centimeters, the line. Okay, so this is the neckline, your point O. Your 3 centimeters down the point O is your shoulder line. Your 11 centimeters down point O is your back line. 21.5 centimeters down point O is your bust line. 40 centimeters down point O is your waistline, taken from the individual figure. And the hip line is 22 centimeters, which is constant, added to your waist level, becomes your hip line, and that's 62 centimeters. Okay, so on this neckline, we are going to measure the back neck width, and that's taken from the proportion. And for my client, it is 7. Okay, so on the neckline, we're going to mark 7 centimeters, and from that point, we are going to go 2 centimeters above it. Okay, so I have marked 7 centimeters and I am going to go 2 centimeters above it. Even with this my high heel, I am still not that tall. Make sure you label. It is very important you label as you go on. So this is 7 centimeters and this is 2 centimeters up. And this is our neck point, NP. So this is the NP. So my model is not here. I'm just going to show you on me. This is my NP. Remember when I was taking the measurement, the NP is the highest point of the body where the garment sits on. Okay, so I'm working with the back. So this is our NP. And this point O is somewhere here, the neck, remember? So we're going to curve this now. Okay, so I'm just going to curve. I'm going to curve these 2 centimeters, which is the NP, to come and meet point O. And I'm going to show you on me. So my NP and the curve coming here like so. Okay, and I'm using my French curve, the broken one. Okay. So we'll come to the shoulder line. On the shoulder line, remember we're drafting the back. So we're going to mark half across back on the shoulder line, and we're going to do the same on the bust line. So for my client, it's taken from our measurements, not proportions. So my client across back is 39. The half is 19.5. So we're going to do 19.5. I'm measuring 19.5 on the shoulder, and I am measuring it on the bust. So I'm going to connect the 2 lines together. This is my RO guideline. Okay? Remember to always label 19.5. This is my RO guideline. Now, on the shoulder line, I'm going to measure 2 centimeters outward for my SP. Remember, SP is shoulder point. So this is 2 centimeters. 2 centimeters beyond the RO guideline. And we're going to call it SP, shoulder point. Remember when I was taking my client's measurements, where the shoulder bone is, NP to SP. Okay? And on the bust line, we are going to measure beyond this RO guideline, the back UP. Back UP is taken from the proportions, and back UP simply means back underarm point. Underarm point is the point where you join the side seam, the connection between the front and the back, the way you seam your back and front together. That line that runs down, the seam that runs down, is your underarm line. Okay? So underarm point is taken from proportion, and for my client is 5.5. Okay? So I'm going to be measuring 5.5 beyond the bust line. So this is 5.5, and I'm going to write UP underarm point. Okay, so I'm going to connect my NP to my SP. My NP, remember neck point, the highest point of the body, to my SP, the shoulder point, to form my shoulder seam. Okay? Okay, so from my NP, from my client's NP to our SP, I have 15.5. 15.5 centimeters. But my client's shoulder is 14 centimeters. That means this line is longer than my client's shoulder measurement. I'll say that again. I have connected NP to SP. So I have measured this line, and it gives me 15.5 centimeters. But my shoulders, which is my shoulder seam, it's your shoulder seam, NP to SP, that's the shoulder seam. And my client's shoulder measurement is 14, which means this is too long for my client by 1.5 centimeters. So that's 15.5 minus my client's shoulder, which is 14. It gives me 1.5 centimeters. That tells me I will be having 1.5 darts on the back. My client is going to be having 1.5 centimeters dart on the back. So I'm going to show you that quickly. So this is what it looks like. So we're going to be marking this dart on my client's back. Are we good? The other one. I beg your pardon. We're good now. Okay? Okay, we're just trying to connect the IG back. Okay, sorry about that. We're trying to connect the IG parts back. Are we good? Are we good now? Okay. Okay, so I said we're connecting the NP to SP, the neck point to the shoulder point. Remember when I was measuring my client? As a matter of fact, I need to bring the dummy. Just 1 minute. Okay, so I've just asked my colleague to bring the dummy. That way I will use that as a... Be careful. Okay, so this is the SP and NP. Neck points, can they see it? Are you seeing it? And on the other one. Okay, so the neck point and the shoulder point, the seam becomes our shoulder seam, right? And that's what I have done. But from here to here in the construction, is giving me 15.5 and my client is 14, which means on the draft it is going to be longer for my client. So that means I need to shorten it by the help of a dart. I will be doing it with the help of a dart. Okay? So we are going to be positioning a dart here. So how do you position your dart? So we're going to measure from neck point, half of my client's shoulder measurement. My client's shoulder measurement is 14, so I'm going to be measuring 7 from NP, and I'm going to be measuring the same 7 from SP inward, like so. So I have measured 7 from here, from my NP, and I've measured 7 from SP. So I have, that means the dart is positioned in the middle. So all I have to do is measure it, which is 1.5. We already know it's 1.5. Find the middle of the 1.5 and place your ruler parallel to your shoulder seam, like so. And rule up to 9 centimeters, between 8 and 9. The smaller your dart, the shorter it should be. The bigger your dart, the longer it should be, so that when you're holding the dart, it tapers off neatly. It won't poke. If your dart is big and is short, it will poke. Then you finish your dart like so. Okay? We've just done the back dart. If you want, you can shade it. Shading means it's going away. It's not part of your body measurement. Okay? So now we're coming back to the bust line. And we will be drawing our armhole. We'll be drawing the armhole. So I'm going to bring this back. So this is what we've done at the back. We've connected the NP to the SP. That's what we've done here. Okay, let me use this side because this looks NP to the SP for the back. And we are about to draw the armhole. Okay, so we need to create an angle to help us draw this armhole. This is what we are actually supposed to do. We're supposed to connect SP to the UP by using the French curve and like so. But can you see, I'm trying to rotate it. There is nothing guiding me. So that is why we need to create a guideline. As pattern makers, you always need to create guidelines for yourselves. Even if there is none, you have to find a way to create. Because it's a case of as you lay your bed, so you will lie on it. So if you're supposed to rule a straight line and you've done a slanted line, that's how the garment, you discover that by the time you finish sewing the garment, you're going to have drags. Slanted means there's going to be drags on your, and that's one of the reasons, that's one of the causes of fitting issues. Okay, so we need guidelines and we're going to be using 2 for this purpose. So we need a guideline. So I'm going to be measuring, I'm going to be pointing out 3 centimeters below the back line. So this is guideline 1. That's 3 centimeters. If you like, you can write it. And I'm going to be creating a 3 centimeters angle using my protractor. So you need to have one of this. It's a set square. It's a set of 2. Okay, but this is the one we need now. Okay, so you find your angle 45. Remember the bit of arithmetic. Angle 45 degrees. And I'm going to draw an angle at 3 centimeters. So 3 centimeters, placing it my ruler like so, and I'll mark 3 centimeters. Remember to always label. Okay, now we can now draw our armhole. You're going to see. Sometimes you might not be able to draw it at once. For some people, you might be able to draw it at once. So let's see if we're going to be able to draw this at once. It's okay if you cannot draw it at once. If you can, then fantastic. By all means, go ahead. So this looks like I will be able to draw it at once. So this is what my back armhole looks like. Okay, so we're moving to the hip. So at the hip level, we're going to be measuring from center back. We're going to be from center back on the hip level. We're going to be measuring quarter hip measurements, and we're going to come here to find out what our quarter hip measurement is. It's a measurement taken on my client, not under proportions. Remember, so remember to write it M. And that's 27.5. Is it 27.25? 27.25. What's funny?
Your student.
What did she say?
She said instead of her concentrating, she's looking at your beautiful dress and face.
Oh my God. Thank you. Okay, so that's 27.25 I have marked. It is also very important you are able to read the rulers, the scales. It is very, very important. Please go online, go on Google and type in how to read scales, how to read measurements. You will see loads of information on that. Okay, because of time we might not be able to really show all of this, but please try and Google it. Okay, so now we're going to connect the UP on the arm point to the HP, hip point. So this is hip point, and this measurement is quarter hip measurement, right? So we're going to connect it using a ruler, a straight line. So that's our side seam for the back, and I'm going to show you on here. So if I put this ruler on like this, on the hand point is your UP and HP is your hip point. So this ruler is showing the hip line like so. I hope you're all seeing it. So I'm going to write straight. So this is your straight underarm line. So that's the straight underarm line. Can they see it? Thank you, my videographer. Thank you so much. She has volunteered to do this for us today. Okay? So we're almost done with the back, right? So we're going to go in on the waistline. We're going to go in by 2 centimeters. In on the waistline from the straight underarm line is known as the WP, waist point. WP, waist point. The 2 centimeters is fixed, it's constant. That's your first shaping. Okay, so from this point we are going to come down by 0.5 centimeters. And that's 0.5. Natalie said for larger figure, for smaller figure, you come down by 0.5. For larger figure, and so on and so forth, you can come down by 1 centimeter. But because my client is at Opelenge, Lekpa, Shanti, so I'm going to use 0.5. So that 0.5 is what we're going to use to connect our lower waist. Okay? So this is the straight waist. We're about to do the lower waist line. So from the WP, I'm going to measure down 0.5 centimeters. And I'm going to connect this to the CB on the waistline, like so. Remember I said construction. You can see it's actually a construction. Okay? So this is the lower waistline. Lower waist. The one here is the waistline that we measured on my client. So we're doing the lower waist. You get to know why as we go on. So we're going to connect the UP to the lower waist line at the WP, the lower WP, and the WP to the hip point using my broken hip curve. This is a sheep curve, remember. I said that, and this is a hip curve. You can also use the pattern master. Where is it? Thank you. You can also use the pattern master. But I so love my sheep curve. You will not understand. You will not understand. I have used a lot of all these curves, and I love the curve, this beauty. Even though it's broken, I love the curve it gives me. Okay? So please watch the way I am going to place my ruler, because it's an inward curve. this dummy is looking shaped. It's been cinched. They've taken out the excess on it, and that's what we're about to do. It's an inward curve and an outward curve. Inward, outward. When you're connecting UP to the waistline, it's an inward curve. When you're connecting waistline to the hip, is an outward curve. Inward, outward. Inward, outward. Okay? So I'm going to place my scale like so. Inward curve. And outward. See? And we have, this is going to be our shapes. Shapes on the arm line. Because it's looking shaped already. Okay? So we're going to stop here and move to the front. We're getting there. What's the time? How many minutes have we spent? Over 1 hour. Oh my God. Okay, so let's be fast about it. So we're moving to the front now. We're done with the back as it is. We're moving to the front. So I'll be taking your questions later on. I'll read through every comment and respond to them once this ends. Okay, so let's move to the front. Now, the point O in front is 3 centimeters. It's going to be 3 centimeters higher. So the front point O is starting from the edge of the paper here, unlike at the back where we had to measure 3 centimeters, which was taken from the proportion down. In front, the point O is at the edge of the paper. It's on our top line. And this basically means this is our neckline in front. Okay, so the same neckline measurement we did at the back, which is 7, is what we're going to be doing in front. And I know a lot of people will ask, why is point O in front higher than at the back? And that's simply because we have bust in front. So if we put the same measurement we have at the back in front, it's going to be short because of the bust that we have in front. So we are trying to make the front longer to accommodate the busts. Okay? So basically that's it. So I'm going to measure 7 centimeters, the same thing we did at the back. And that's your NP, neck point. Okay? So just like we did at the back, we're going to have shoulder level in front and the base of neckline. So I'm going to show you on my dummy what the base of a neckline means. So this is the base of the neckline here. Right. This is the base of the neckline, and shoulder line is somewhere here. You see, we cannot take all these measurements on an individual and take them accurately. That is why Natalie did a very, very good job to measure around 10-20,000 women and did an average so that we can be using this as our guide. Okay, so for the base of the neckline, Natalie suggested we use 7 centimeters, 7.5 centimeters in smaller sizes and up to 8 centimeters in larger sizes. And since my client falls under small medium, I'm going to be using 7.5 as a base of neckline, and I'm going to be using 4 centimeters for our shoulder line. All these values are in the textbook. So if you haven't gotten the textbook, you should buy. You can buy from Amazon, I think there's a soft copy as well. Okay, so I'm going to be measuring 4.5 centimeters for shoulder line in front and 7.5 for the base of the neckline. Remember, shoulder line and the base of the neckline somewhere here. That's what I've done. And for the chest level, remember we have across back level at the back. In front, we're going to have chest level. For the chest level, we're going to measure 4 centimeters above the bust line. Centimeters measured above the bust line. That is going to be our chest level. Already we have the bust line, the waistline, and the hip line ruled to the front. So we're not going to touch those ones again. So we're only going to rule these 3 new points. So like I did for the back, I'm going to quickly point them out here to allow me to place my ruler straight. Or if you have the L scale, I know a lot of you will say, oh, I don't know how to use this. So I'm just going to show us how to use it. We have scissors. Okay, I'm just going to put it like so. So to use the L scale, you place this part on here, on a straight line, and you roll across. It's automatically, this must be placed on the straight line here. Once it's straight, this part is straight also. It is automatic. Okay, so we're going to roll across like so. The same. Come down to the base of neckline. So that's how to use your L square or L scale. Okay, so we are left with the chest level. And we're going to label base of neckline. And this is shoulder. Base of neckline and shoulder. So the next thing to do is to bring these points, the 7 centimeters neck width points, down to the base of neckline. So you come here and measure the same 7 centimeters. And connect. I shouldn't have written inside here so that we can see what we're doing. I apologize. I hope it's bold enough. Is it bold enough? I shouldn't have written here. I should have written here so that you can see what we're doing. So like we did here, we're going to be creating an angle to draw the front neckline. Okay? It's going to be a 3 centimeters angle using the protractor at angle 45 degrees. It is very important you know how to use all of this. So it's going to be 3 centimeters. You write it and you connect using a beautiful Brooklyn. And that is the front neckline. NP to base of neckline. So I'm going to show you. Can we see it? We've done from NP to base of neckline. That's what we've just done. Okay, so just like we did at the back, ruling the shoulder seam, we're going to rule the shoulder seam in front as well. But we need some guidelines to be able to do this. So on the shoulder line, we're going to measure about 16.5 centimeters. It is constant. 16.5 is constant. Right? On the shoulder line, 16.5 centimeters from center front. Then we're going to rule a line from NP, passing through this point and rule up to about 22 centimeters. It's an unfinished line. It's a provisional line. And it's on this line we will be measuring our shoulder. Okay, so like so. So this is about 22 centimeters from NP, passing through the guideline, which is the 16.5 on the shoulder line, through to 22 centimeters. Okay, so next thing is to plan our dart. In front, we're going to be having something called the bust dart. The bust dart allows you to give curve to your front bodies. Okay? Because we are not flat chested, we have something protruding. So we need to create space for the bust to sit in front. So and that's one of the essence of the bust dart in front. Okay? So according to Natalie, she said we should use our across chest measurement for the positioning of the dart. The dart positioning is also called the princess style line. And I'm going to show you. I'm not sure if you're going to see it because this is a black dress form. Can I move it? Can I move it close? Is it okay? Okay, so can you all see this line? I should move it backward? A bit? It's okay. Can you all see this line? There's a line going through, coming from the middle of the shoulder, passing through the highest point of the bust on both sides. Do you want to get us the beige dress form? Thank you. She's going to get us the beige dress form. Okay, so if you need some of these tools, we have them for sale. We have the pattern master, we have the hip curve, we have the L scale, we have the arm curve for the sleeve. This is arm curve. We have the leg curve. I'll share the link in the section, in the comment section. Okay, so yes, is it clear now? Okay, so this is the princess seam, the princess line. Can you see this is passing through the highest point of the bust, both in front and at the back. So we have princess seam or princess line in front and at the back. So there is a measurement for that. So for the back, we're going to get there by the time we're doing waist shaping. For the back, it's quarter across back. So for the front, we're supposed to use the quarter across chest measurement. But this is what I tell my students. When you're taking your client's measurement, can we get our model, please? When you're taking your client's measurement, you need to take their bust span, the space between the two busts. And that is what we will be using. If you're able to take it on your client's measurement, fantastic. If you are not able, maybe like the way I forgot to take ours, okay, I think it's written. Bust width, it's fine, don't worry, 17. Where's our measurement tape? Let me just show them how to take this. It's because I took the measurement initially. Okay, so when you're taking the bust width, bust span, space between the busts, anyhow you want to call it, please do not touch your client. That's why as designers, we need to have eye for details. We need to be able to measure by looking. Okay? Not every measurement you'll be able to do that, but certain closer measurements you should be able to know them while you're looking. Okay? So bust span is taken from bust point to bust point. It's also called bust width. Some people call it nipple to nipple. Whichever one however you are able to understand it. Just make sure you take the measurement accurately. So I took it on my client and it's 17 centimeters. But in the textbook, I am referring to the textbook because I know a lot of people use Natalie Brays book. So Natalie said to get your dart position in for the front, you do quarter across chest. So for my client, a quarter across chest is 10.25. Yeah, 10.25. But I took the measurement on her and it is 17. So 17 divided by 2 will give us maybe 8.5. Yeah. Like, where's my calculator? I just want us not to be calculating by head. Just to be sure, you cannot afford to make a mistake. So 17 divided by 2, 8.5. But on across chest divided by 4 is giving us 10.25. That tells you something. She has broader chest, but I'll explain it here. The chest is broader, but the busts are not positioned farther. They are positioned closer. This means, and this is why I said when you're taking your client's measurements, you need to study their figure. Someone can have a wider across back and a wider across chest, but the positioning of the busts are not wider. The bust is positioned closer to each other. I don't know if you get what I mean. So if you do quarter across chest, that is across chest divided by 4, and the actual measurement of their bust span, it will be different. But because you took that actual measurement, you should use the actual measurement rather than using what the across chest is giving you. It is very important. If you do that, this is in our case, it is 10.25, but in reality, she's 8.5. This means the princess style line will go further. It will not sit on the apex. That's what it means. Okay? So, we will be measuring 8.5, that is half of our across chest, half of our bust width, which is 17. So on the bust line, we're going to be measuring 8.5. So this is 8.5. And we're going to take this point up. We're going to do a line. It's a broken line. Up and down by 2 centimeters. So we're going to come down 2 centimeters and go up using a broken line up to the shoulder seam, the provisional seam. Okay, so I'm going to do them together. Can they see? Like so. Okay, so 8.5, I'm just quickly going to mark it right here. 8.5. Place my ruler on there. So from 2 centimeters below, we do broken lines. And from this point, we're going to measure 2 centimeters on this provisional line. So 2 centimeters from here to the left and connect it to this point, the 2 centimeters below the bust line.
Somebody said thank you, that she just needs, you just answered her question.
Aww, I'm glad.
She has been having an issue with her pattern.
Oh, I'm glad this helps. Okay, so my client's dart is taken from proportion and it is 7.5. So what I've just drawn is the outer dart leg. So we're going to draw the inner dart leg and we need to measure my client's dart. It is taken from proportions. Remember, 7.5. So I'm going to measure 7.5 from here, not from here, not from NP. Okay? I'm measuring it from the outer dart leg, and this is 7.5. Oh, fortunately it's falling on the same point with it. And we're going to connect to here. And that is the bust dart. So we can shade. Remember to shade your dart, it means it's not part of your body. Okay? Now we need to get the shoulder point just like we did at the back. So how do you get your shoulder point? Your shoulder point, we're going to have my client's shoulder measurement from the measurement plus our darts. Our shoulder measurement, which is 14, plus our dart, which is 7.5, will give us 21.5 if I'm correct. Let's use calculator. 14 plus 7.5 is 21.5, yes. So now you're going to place your ruler on NP and mark 21.5. And this is the front SP. Shoulder point. Front SP. Just like we did for the back, we're doing for the front now. Okay? Now we come to the chest level. You can see it's step by step. We started from the upper part, then we moved. Now we come on the chest level and we are going to measure my client's half chest measurement, which was taken on arm. So our chest measurement is 41, half chest measurement is 20.5. So when you're measuring, you place your ruler on here, we measure from here to the outer dart leg, and we jump the dart and continue till we establish the 20.5. So this is what it's going to look like. So from center front to the outer dart leg, I have about 9 centimeters. Then I'm going to move my ruler. I'm going to place the 9 centimeters on the inner dart leg till I register 20.5. I hope you understand that. Another way to do this is you can measure the space in your dart. So from the outer dart leg and the inner dart leg, you measure what you have. So in this example, let's say it's about 2.3 centimeters, and you add it to your half across chest, which is 20.5. So 20.5 plus 2.3 should give you 22.8, and that's what we have here. So you add the value of this dart to your half across chest, and you measure, you just place your ruler on from center front and just measure straight, right? So it's the same thing, whichever one you choose to do. Okay, so we're going to take this measurement also, we're going to bring it down to draw a short perpendicular line, which we're going to be using as our guide to draw the front arm hole. Okay, so we already said this is 20.8. Oh, 22.8, sorry. Okay, so connect this to here first, right? And this point is known as the chest point. CHP, chest point. Now connect your chest point to your SP. Chest point to SP. You also need to measure what you have. So now my chest point, from my chest point to SP is 12.5 centimeters. Find half of 12.5. That's 6.25. Half of whatever you have from here to here, for me, is 6.25. Go in by 1 centimeter. I know the freehand people will understand this. It's the same. It's actually there are some similarities between freehand and pattern. So it's an added advantage if you've done freehand before learning pattern. Good for you. Okay. So this is 1 cm. Right? Now, at this angle, remember we did 3 cm at the back. Here we're going to be doing 1.5 centimeters, and it is fixed. Okay, so again, use your protractor and do angle 45 degrees. Connect. 1.5 centimeters. 1.5. Okay, now we need to work out the front UP just like we did for the back. We've done the back UP, remember the underarm point. We need to do for the front as well, and there is a formula for it. It's very simple. Can we focus the camera? Should I write it here? Can you see me here? Or should I write it on the board? On the board. Okay, so you can say front UP, right? And the formula is half bust plus 5 centimeters equal to whatever it gives you. Pam, pam, pam. Minus back width, what you have as your back UP. So minus back width already obtained. Right? Now let's do the calculation. So half bust, from our calculation, half bust is 47. 47, I like step-by-step calculation. Plus 5 gives you 52 minus back width obtained from CB to back UP. What do we have? We have 19.5 and 5.5. 19.5 plus 5.5 gives us 19.5 plus 5.5 gives us 25 centimeters, right? So this is 25 centimeters. So we have 52 minus 25 centimeters. What does it give us? 27. So we're going to be measuring 27 centimeters from center front to get our front UP, like so. So you place your ruler on here. Remember what we did when we were measuring the chest point. We jumped the dart. The same way we're going to be jumping the dart here as well. Okay? So 27 centimeters, let me put it above so that you can see. From center front to here, the inner dart leg is about 8.5. So I'm going to move my ruler to the outer dart leg at 8.5 till we get 27 centimeters. So this is where 27 centimeters stops, and that gives us the front UP. If you do not jump the dart, it means you are taken out of your client's measurement. Not totally. Remember, we've added 5 centimeters. The 5 centimeters we have added is the ease. Remember when we started constructing this table, we did half it plus 3. The 3 centimeters we added is the ease. As pattern makers, we do not draft our exact measurement. We draft with ease. Okay? So we have the front UP, and we are going to be connecting with a curve to draw the front armhole just like we did at the back. So we already have our guidelines. We have guideline 1, we have 2 before we get here. Now, like the back, sometimes it will be, you will be able to draw it at once, and most times you will not be able to. So let's see what happens. So we are connecting SP to UP basically using the guidelines. Okay, so see, you need to keep moving your ruler till you connect with your guidelines. Okay, so learn to do this. So I've done it 1, 2, so I'm actually going to do it 3 times. So before I connect this to here, I have to dip it down a little bit below the bust line. Can you see it came down a little bit before getting to, there is reason for everything, okay? We're almost done. It's not difficult. You just need someone to grab your hand and show you how to do it. It's actually not difficult at all. Okay, so the next thing is to connect the UP, just like we did at the back, to the HP in front. Remember, we constructed this table using half hip plus 3. And I just said that the 3 centimeters is the ease added onto our hip, because as pattern makers, we don't draft our exact body measurement, we draft with ease. So the ease is given to the front in its totality. So I'm just going to connect this to here. So this means your hip, my client's hip will touch. And this is fine. If you need to know more about this, please go and read page 22 of the dress pattern designing. You read from page 22 to page 33. It tells you it analyzes the construction of the basic block. It is very important. Page 22 to 33. Very, very important. You're going to understand all of this. Okay? So just like we did at the back, that we measured 2 centimeters in front, we're going to measure 1.5 centimeters. On the waist, we measure in 1.5 centimeters, and that is fixed. At the back, we measured 2, and that is your waist point, WP. Also, we're going to come down, just like we came down at the back for the lower waist. We came down by 0.5 centimeters, and we're going to do the same. Note how I am placing my ruler parallel to the line, right? Remember what I said about guidelines. So this is 0.5, and at the center front, you know, when you're taking your waist measurement, when I was taking it, I forgot to mention that you slant your tape a little bit in the front. You always slant a little bit to make provision also for the lengthening part of the front. You know, I said the front length must be longer than the back. And how is that possible? How do we make that possible? Number 1 is raising the point O, and number 2 is slanting the waist in front. So by the time we slant the waist in front and we measure from point O to that point, and we measure from point O to the waist at the back, you will realize the front is going to be longer than the back, which is perfect. When you wear the garment, it won't show, because the bust would have lifted the front block. Okay, so in smaller sizes, Natalie recommended we do 1.5. In larger sizes, you can even do up to 2.53 centimeters. So because my client is leg back, I am going to do 1.5. So from the waist, I have marked 1.5 centimeters down. And I'm going to connect this 0.5 to this 1.5 for our front lower waist. And that is it. This is the lower waist. So the next thing is to connect the UP to here, to the WP, and the WP to the hip. But before we do that, we need to find our apex line, true bust line, right? So this is it. When you're measuring your true bust line, let me just show you on the dress form. True bust line is measured from NP to your apex. NP to the nipple, NP to the apex, NP to the bust point, right? So you place your tape here to the bust point. I took that measurement initially on my client and I have it written down. Okay? And for my client, it is 27.5 centimeters. 28 centimeters. But according to Natalie, in the textbook, when you're reading the Natalie, she says to get your bust point, measure 4 centimeters below the bust line. I tell you, it cannot be 4 centimeters for everybody. But if you go read the page I just said, the page 22, which is analysis of the basic bodice block, she further explained that in some cases, it is important you take these measurements on the actual figure. So invariably, she has told you, even though she said you should do 4 centimeters below the bust line, it is not going to work for everybody. She said further and said, some people it's going to be 2 centimeters below, and for some people it's going to be up to 7 centimeters below. Okay? So 4 centimeters below the bust line cannot work for everybody. 4 centimeters above the bust line to get the chest line is still fine for everybody because it helps to curve your armhole smoothly. But for the bust point, you need the actual measurements to be taken. So I took this measurement on my client and it is 28 centimeters. So I'm just going to point out the 28 centimeters and I'm going to place my ruler from point O. But let's see if my client's 28 centimeters is going to fall 4 centimeters below the bust line. Let's see. Remember I said Natalie took several women's measurements. Okay, so this is my client's 28 centimeters. Let's see the difference. This is just about 3.5 centimeters. Not bad. So like I said, Natalie took several women's measurements to come up with most figures in the proportion table. So it will not be the same for everybody. Okay? They are just guidelines for us to use. But trust me, the proportion table is fantastic. It works. It works. But again, as pattern makers, you need to understand what you need to do if what happens. Okay? So I'm just going to rule my client's measurements across. Right? So the bust level, this is the true bust line. It is called the true bust line. True bust line. True bust line. Okay? Now we can now connect. Please note how I am going to place the ruler. It is very important. So it's going to be an outward curve, slightly outward curve. The reason we're going to have slightly outward curve is to give room to our side busts, right? So it's going to be like so. It's not that obvious, right? But we have to do it. An inward curve, so I'm connecting this. Note, I am not connecting from UP, but from my true bust line to WP, right? And outward curve, just like we did at the back, connecting WP to the hip point. So I'm just going to come here. It doesn't matter if it's not getting to your HP, just stop at where it touches. And that's it. Basically, this is your bodies, the back and the front. And I can tell you for free, you can cut and sew this and wear. Where it has a free dress, where it has a free top without darts in there. But in, how many minutes do we have more? We're going to quickly do the waist shaping. How many minutes? This is 5:29, okay? So we're going to quickly do the waist shaping and we're going to do the final shoulder. We will be able to do the final shoulder once we are done. I'll have to remove this from the board put it on the table and show you how to do the final shoulder for the front. But before we do that, let's quickly do the waist shaping and distribute the darts, okay? So waist shaping basically means tightening your waist. The waist you see right now on the board, they are loose. They are bigger than my client's waist. So I need to get rid of the excess on this waist by darting them. You can get rid of your excess by darting them. Okay, so that's what I'll be doing. So basically, we need first to find out how much excess my client has on her waist. And there is a formula for it. So you just say waist shaping. Yes, I heard that. Someone is saying there is formula for everything. There is formula for everything. Remember I told you, simple arithmetic. So there is a formula, and it's half waist plus, remember what I said, I've said it 2 times. As pattern makers, we don't draft our exact measurement. We draft adding ease. And on this block, I have added 3 centimeters to my client's ease, to my client's waist, and my client's hip, I beg your pardon. And on the bust, I have added 5 centimeters to our bust measurement. So I need to add to our waist measurement as well. We cannot draft our exact waist measurement. We need to add ease. So according to Natalie, she said you can add from 1.5 to like 3 on the half block. Remember, we are working on half blocks. Okay? So for example, we did half hip plus 3 here. So on the full figure, that means she has 6 centimeters on her as ease on her hip. We did half bust plus 5 for the bust. That means on her full figure, she has 10 centimeters extra on her bust. And here, I'm going to choose 1.5 because she's leper. Or should we do 2? Let's do 1.5. So that means she's going to have 3 centimeters as ease on her waist. So what is our half waist? Our waist measurement is 71 centimeters, and half of that is 35.5 plus 1.5. Please, I beg you, always do your calculations step by step. It's going to be easier. It's going to make it easier for you even when you're going back to read. But if you do right to jaga 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 jaga, it is the jaga jaga you will see also. Please always do them step by step. So 35.5 plus 1.5 is what? 37, right? Is it 37? My camera woman. So that's 37 centimeters. So this is how we're going to find out how much excess we have. Okay, so we're measuring 37 centimeters. So we're going to measure from CB. Camera woman, are you seeing? So we're going to measure from center back, and we're measuring on the straight waistline, not the lower waistline. Please take note of that. On the straight waistline, we're measuring from the center back to the WP. We're going to jump the dart, because this is like a dart, if you would say, and continue from the front WP till we establish 37 centimeters, right? So I'm going to measure like so on the straight waist, not the slanted one. So from here to my client's WP is 24 centimeters. I'm going to continue from the front WP and placing it on the 24 centimeters. And till I establish 37. Oh my God. That's a lot. So you write hard here. Everything we have from here to the center front is what we're going to take out. Okay, so let's see what we have. Oh my God, that's 14 centimeters. So we have 14, so reduction equal to 14 centimeters. So we have 14 centimeters extra on my client's waist to take out. So I like to confirm, so I'm going to measure again to be sure this is correct. So I'm going to go again. So half waist is 35.5 plus 1 centimeter, 35, 36, 37 centimeters. I am going to measure again. Always confirm. Don't be too quick to write or go ahead when you're not sure. So that's fine, fantastic. And we have 14 centimeters. So this 14 centimeters, we're going to divide it almost equally between front and back. I don't know if you can see, one block is bigger than the other. So my client's front block is a bit bigger than her back, right? So we might likely give more to the front than to the back. So instead of saying 7 centimeters, 7 centimeters, that is the excess that we're taking out, which is 14, we can say we're going to take 7.5 centimeters out in front and 6.5 centimeters out at the back. So front 7.5 and back 6.5 centimeters. So now how do we share this? So we know back is taking 6.5, front is taking 7.5 centimeters. I know quite a lot of people, when they are taking darts on their garments, they just dart on the side, bam, and here. But in pattern making, we distribute our excess. So it is very important you understand this and you understand how to go about the distribution, okay? Please be attentive at this point and make sure you go back and read the textbook, okay? So we have to distribute the excess around. So we're going to take some out from the center back, we're going to take some out from the sides, and we're going to take some out from the center front. The largest share will be taken from under the bust in front and under the waist at the back. And you're going to have something like so. Let's see. So this is what it's going to look like. Can we see it, my videographer? So this is the dart in front. Can you see it's big? And this one is big. Then some was taken out from here, some was taken out, some were taken out from here, and some from the slanted CF. Okay? So at the back, we call it slanted CB, and in front is going to be slanted CF, and at the side, they're just going to be side seams. Okay? So now we have 6.5 at the back. How do we distribute it? We're going to give 2 centimeters to the back. Right. Okay, so let me quickly address this. Some people have contacted me and they've asked, oh, Natalie said we should give 2 centimeters to the back, to the slanted CB, 1 centimeter to the side CF, blah, 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 blah. But I don't have that amount. If I do that, I will be taken out of my client's measurement. Fantastic. You actually have the answers. You can only work with the excess you have. If you don't have up to 14 centimeters like my clients, then you cannot fix those figures Natalie asked you to fix in the textbook. No. You work with the excess you have. For example, if any of you is going to practice this, by the time you do your waist shaping, you might be having something like 5 centimeters. So if you have 5 centimeters, you work with the excess you have. You cannot say because Natalie said you should take 2 centimeters out here, 2 centimeters, 1, 1, 3, 1. That means you're taking more than it is needed. That means you're taking out of your client's measurement. So you should always work with the value you have. The most important thing is to know how to distribute them. Okay? So we have 6 centimeters, 6.5 centimeters at the back. We're going to give 2 centimeters to the slanted CB. 2. We're going to give 1 centimeter to the side seam. Now you have to measure on the lower waist, please. So this is 1. So 2, 1, that is 3. The remaining 3.5 comes in the middle. So let's quickly draw this. This point, this slanted CB, it is very important. Some people have deep back. It is very important. If you don't do slanted CB for them, it's one of the reasons you're going to be having folded back. Your back will be gaping. And folding, you know, even if you had zipper to it. So we're going to take this point to the across back line. And take it to the hip. Don't forget to shade it. Shade it, shade it, shade it, shade it. That tells you it is going out. Also, for the sides, connect like you've done. Right? And like so. Don't forget to shade it, shade it, shade it, shade it. Now we need to position the middle one. How do we do that? Your quarter across back, 9.75. Measure it from your CV on the straight line, 9.75. And you're going to rule a line 13 centimeters down, 12 centimeters up. And you're going to start measuring from the lower one. So I usually had it, that's 25. 13 centimeters down, 12 centimeters up. I usually place my ruler on 13. I place my 13 on the lower waistline and just rule up to 25. So this is 13 and this is 12. So if you measure like this, from the lower waist, this is 13 centimeters, can you see? And from the lower waist up, if you measure it, it's 12 centimeters. Okay? Remember we have 3.5 left. So you're going to do 1.75 to the left, 1.75 to the right side of this line. 1.75 to the left. Like so. Then you connect and finish your dart. Don't forget to shade, shade, shade. 3.5. Okay? That's that for the back. Now let's go to the front. We have 7.5 in front. So we are going to give the side seam 1.5. Do not give more than 1.5 to avoid overshaping. You cannot overshape. We do not overshape in pattern, but you're not supposed to overshape at all. So 1 centimeter for this front slanted CF, this is 1.5. That's 2.5 gone. We have 5 centimeters left. The 5 centimeters left will be taken in the middle. And the measurement must be the same thing we did for finding your dart. So we use 8.5. So you're going to measure 8.5 here. For the dart positioning, it must align. Remember, it is a princess seam. It's going to flow from the shoulder down. They must align. They're going to be connected while you're designing. Okay? So, you're going to measure 15 centimeters down, 13 centimeters up, a total of 28 centimeters. So 15 centimeters down, a total of 28 centimeters, right? 15 centimeters, fantastic. 13 centimeters, fantastic. So 5 centimeters comes here, so 5 centimeters, 2.5, 2.5 on either side of the dart line. Remember, you're measuring from the lower waistline. 2.5, 2.5. And finish your dart. Shade your dart. The slanted C head. Are they seeing it? Camera woman? My camera woman is a genius. And that's it. That is it. We have come to the end of the construction, and the only thing we're left with is to complete the shoulder in front. I'll have to do it on the table, so we're going to adjust a little bit so that we can see. Okay, I think I should be able to do it here. Let me see. I'll need the tracing wheel. Okay, so we have come to the end of the class. I hope you have been able to, you have learned one or two things. I will be responding to questions if there are any. Do we have any questions?
Yeah.
Later on, just leave your questions, please. Okay, so we're going to be turning the camera down. We're going to turn the camera down. Okay, sorry guys, I'm going to turn this down. Can I hold it too? Okay, turn the. So this is the last bit of this. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to bring this dart line to this dart leg. So we're going to crease it. Like so. And paper tape, I have to. It has torn. Okay, are they seeing it? Oh, that fine too. Okay, so we're going to turn this like so. the dart leg, the outer dart leg coming to the inner dart leg with the fold towards the neckline. This is all what I've done. This dart leg coming here, you just make sure. If this is not laying well, you can just fold this underneath. By the time you fold here, this part, so this will stay and it stays put. Yeah, it's the fun. Okay, we're done. We're just going to connect UP. We're connecting NP, I beg your pardon, to SP. Okay, I'm just going to turn off the fan. Okay, so I'm just going to do that again. This dart leg coming to this dart leg, like so. So you connect NP to SP with a straight line, like so. And that is your final shoulder. But if you do this, if I open it, you won't see the line underneath. So you complete it with the help of a tracing wheel. Everyone should get this. So I need to bring this underneath so that I'll be able to trace it, like so. Just trace. So by the time you open it, you have that diamond shape. Can you see the diamond shape? So I'm just going to read it out. So this is what it looks like, and this brings us to the end of the basic body block. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope any question, I will be responding to them in a bit. Thank you for staying with me. Okay, let's quickly complete this. We need to do the final. I'm just going to do that. Sorry, we missed that. This part is just the same thing, just connected to from the true bust line and like so. And don't forget to shade. So basically, that's it. Shall I put it back on the board? Shall I? Just one thing is fine. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and I hope you've been able to learn one or two things from this construction. As you can see, it's very easy. Yes, I said so. It is very, very easy. You only need someone who can help you, who can take you through this construction process. And I can tell you for free, any outfit you make out of this will be perfect. So this is not the end. You need to create a test fit. You need to make a test fit for your client first. Let them come in. I don't make test fits on muslins anymore. I just make clients' garments and they come in for fitting and bam, it suits them. So you need to, if you're a beginner, it is recommended that you do this on a muslin. You do it a muslin fit first before cutting on fashion fabrics. And another thing you need to do is measure the armhole to see if it corresponds to the approximated or estimated armhole from the proportion table that we have used. You can do that on your own. Please, if you attempt this, do share in the comment section. I can assess for you, I can look at it for you if you want me to, but please attempt this construction, and I'll be happy to help you with it. Okay, so we have promo going on at the moment for, I know we are all at home, we are all locked down, and that's the best thing for us right now. We need to stay safe so that we can kick out this COVID. So you can use this time to upgrade your skills, upgrade yourself, read if you have to read, rest if you have to rest. I find it very difficult personally to rest. So I can tell you in the last 2 days, I have slept like no man's business. So I think I am refreshed a bit, and that's why I can stand in front of you today to do this bit. So if you have to rest, if you lack rest, please use this time to rest, and most importantly, make sure you do something different, upgrade yourself. So we have promo on our online courses at the moment. The total fee is actually 90,000, but we brought it down to 45,000 for all 4 modules. Everything is still the same, it's just a change in price. Not that we are removing any details and that's why we are selling to you at a cheaper price. No, you still get what it is we have packed for you. And for corpers, for NYC core members, we brought it down to 25,000 for them, but you have to show undergraduates and NYC members. You need to show proof of your identity, valid proof of your identity. Please do not take our help and our sincerity for granted by telling us you are a core member and you are not. It doesn't speak well. Please, 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 let's help ourselves. This is our only little way of contributing to the Nigerian economy. We cannot do everything, but hey, this is what we can do. So if you need to, the promo valid, it expires 8th of April, because the batch is starting on the 9th of April, which is next week Thursday. So you have from now till next week Wednesday if you're interested. And this is what you will be doing. Yes, it's not difficult. Trust me, it is not difficult. Okay, thank you guys. We also have pattern making tools. We have textbooks. If you want to buy, we have a lot of them. I'll share the link in the comment section. So if anyone is interested, you can just click the link in the comment section. How many things have I said I'll share in the comment section? I know they're watching, so they will remind me if I forget. So please do remind me if I've forgotten anything that I said I will share in the comment section. So thank you for staying with me, and it's bye from me. Bye-bye. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay good.